me, how is it, Trans Systems, I looked them up on the internet, they made 81 bridges in Chicago alone. How can they be so inadequate as to prepare, section, C, which is low level, if they didn't know what they were doing?
That's a good question
I
on
can't
how that
believe-
alternative ever got introduced, and I apologize for that, but that should have never been on the table.
Well, then how come
I
NOACA
agree.
told us that if the sponsor, in this case Jim Gills,
Some-
wanted a footbridge, they would build a footbridge using
someone-
federal money? How come they
Someone-
said that?
Someone was thinking, at the time when, the only thing I can surmise what Trans Systems was thinking, when that moved forward under, actually Tom Gillis, I think is when it started, is.
No, it
Or
wasn't.
under Gills then.
It was
But I know
James
this
Gills.
job started under Tom Gillis, but, the only thing they could have been thinking is that the feds were gonna grant a design exception. Depending on what you're doing, if we were gonna salvage existing piers or something, the feds can, depending on, if we're rehabbing a structure rather than replacing a structure, and we don't have the proper grades all the time, and we do an accident study and what have you, the feds can allow what we call a design exception, not to meet current design standards.
Why couldn't
But
that
when
have
you're,
been the
when
case?
you're totally pulling out a bridge, totally replacing
Well, level C
infrastructure,
was totally replacing it.
they don't give you design exceptions. Alternate C didn't meet design standards. Because it was a replacement, Trans Systems should have never had it on as an alternative. All they had to do was make one call to the federal representative saying, if we propose this, can we get a design exception?
Well, then wouldn't the existence of that alternative early on in the planning process certainly had some impact on people's opinions towards the
Look,
project?
it was
Stakeholder.
2 years of unsorting what they started.
But
yeah.
wouldn't it necessitate, if that was a totally improper alternative to have been included in the beginning, isn't the only way to validly restudy that is to start at the beginning with only the high
It doesn't mean
alternatives?
everything done was wrong.
But
in
it
the
means
other
that everything
planning.
was shaped, it means that everybody's opinions, lots of
That
people,
was
and I've got the
one-
numbers.
That was one of 3 alternatives. It
Yeah.
didn't mean there was anything wrong with the other 2
Well,
alternatives.
yes,
No,
presented.
but wait, let's take a what if. If at those early stakeholder meetings, if the alternative C were not in the mix, and it was A, B, and no build,
Right.
who's to say what the selection or what the support would have been for the no build solution at that point?
Yeah, but the no build typically only is gonna come into play, okay, if you do not have a feasible alternative. You're trying to replace a structure with federal monies to do
Well-
a roadway improvement and replace a deteriorated structure. When you go no build, okay, that means basically that the locals are gonna spend their own money
Yeah.
and replace a structure.
And in this case,
Okay,
the
but-
county could have
Now-
simply repaired the bridge.
They still can, that's their choice. If they wanna pull away from the job
Yeah.
and just use their own money and fix the bridge, they're welcome to.
Well,
do
and
it.
see, what we're saying
Now,
is that the process was
that's-
manipulated to get those
No,
results.
what I'm telling you is, the county wanting to replace a structure to do a highway improvement that's good for the region, okay? This is a good job for the region. You may
But-
not agree, because the bottom line is you don't want the trucks on your road.
But
know,
there's-
but-
And the trucks ought to be able to use it and get over the river to the other side.
And we don't
You know.
disagree, but they ought to be able to use it. They ought to be able to do that with a way that doesn't negatively.
Well, I know you want to put them on park property,
Yeah.
but that